Peace. What's up? This is Chi Vital, aka King Chi, and I am back with another tool for your toolkits and how to create your lives. This afternoon, I'm going to be discussing with you a beautiful strategy that is going to be absolutely fruitful and productive for you for this new moon and anytime you are trying to solve a problem, a conflict that is occurring in your world. So, peace. Thanks for joining in. Let me know you're in the building. What up, HOC? Shouts out to Occult College. We are doing our self development. Wagon. Peace. Welcome, Denise. Hey, Anna. What's going on? Emerald Jade. Just adjust myself here so I can see the chat. Oh, here we go. Boom. And we're live. Hey, Vicky, how are you? All right, so everyone can hear me loud and clear. Peace, King Shango. Welcome, welcome. All right, so I'm going to have a couple of steps of an exercise for you to do. So make sure you have your notebooks ready. And when you do, if you can hear me loud and clearly and you have something to write on and something to write with, put ones in the chat. All right, y'all can hashtag new moon, hashtag mental health, because this is not only going to be good for your manifestations, but it's also going to be good for your mental health. Clarity is key to us having a healthy mind. All right. So what I'm going to be discussing with you all today is going to help you all in your ability to master perspective. So if you can write the title of this lesson in your notebooks so you can return to it, you're going to be mastering perspective. All right. Most of you are attendees of the Occult College, or you've come out of HOC and RBL, or a combination of them all, which is awesome. What you are blessed with is a totally different perspective. All right? You're still growing. I'm still growing. We're all growing. But I'm going to zone in to a particular thing that constantly rears its head when we find ourselves in conflict. And I want to again address the self-made boxes that we exist in. And this is the reason for our work, is to get outside of them. What up, Jigga's in the building? We don't have a master class unless the Jigga's are in the building. What up? All right. So the first thing that I think of are some of the setbacks that we have when we think that there's either one or another solution to any problem. Okay? This is what I call black and white vision. Now, some people call it black and white, seeing things in black and white. I want to offer you an all-encompassing term and just call it complete color blindness. Okay? So put that down in your notebooks, that if you see all things as black or white, you have already set yourself up for a black or white box. But it's definitely going to be a box. And when I speak of boxes, again, I speak of you creating walls that limit your ability to access certain information that can be a resolution to whatever it is that you're dealing with, okay? For this video, I'm not going to go into some of the things that may need to be black or white in your lives. Apply the information as necessary, as needed. We're going to talk about opening up your vision so that you have access to the millions of colors that are available in this beautiful life. All right? So let's think about black and white vision. I like to tell stories. So I'm going to stick to taking you on a little journey. Consider things that are black and white. All right? There comes to mind things that are old. All right? We think, oh, I'm going to watch a black and white movie. It's old. If I see pictures that are black and white, I'm thinking old. Okay? One of the other things that did come to mind, because I love perspective, to be grand, to be global, I thought of classic. So that little mini asterisk, I want you to write under black and white, old, classic. All right? This is how you can organize some of your perspectives or your ideals. Okay? Old, representing things that have not been tried to see if they're still true. Old, you already know that something better is available. Old, meaning it might work for someone else, but it does not work for the situation that you're in. Now, classic, I want to think of something that is very refined and specialized and is timeless. Okay? Something that is timeless. And most times, it's something that is very sensitive. It has a different kind of value. But it's a little smaller in value, and it's very specific in what area it can fit into because it's black or white. Does this make sense so far? Let me know if you follow. All right. So one of the things that kind of get us caught up in a time like this are going to be our conflicts, right? We have conflicts that are old and they're kind of wearing you down, or they're wearing down on your patience or your ability to get into your stillness without the distraction of this thing that still is unresolved. Or you have something that is just current, it's right now. There's a conflict. And when there's a conflict, I want to consider that you yourself are at the center of it. So you represent this focal point, all right? And from where you can see the issue, let's say that your vision is more so towards the black or white, because when you are eye to eye with something, you only can see what is in front of you. At best, you can see as far as your eyes can see ahead of you, okay? What we're striving for is your ability to evaluate from a bird's eye perspective. So we want to take you from this black and white vision, your color blindness of what is right in front of you, what is obvious, okay? And stretch your perspective, stretch your vision to lift you up out of your body, okay? To survey the entire situation. So one of the main things I want you to always remember, no matter what the situation is, good, bad, or indifferent, is that when you're going for perspective, you need to remember this word, context. All right? Context. Two of the same symptoms or signs within a different context are going to lead you to a different outcome and a different set of rules and a different group of resolutions automatically. And when you think of context, I want you to think about a couple of things. There's your surrounding influences, all right? This can include the neighborhood, the people who know about the situation or who have some involvement with the situation, the culture that you are, your ethnicity, your personal taboos, your familiar traditions, languages or language barriers, temperature, flexibility, finances. These are surrounding influences on any situation that you have the power to resolve. Okay? But they're important aspects of the situation because they give you clues as to how you can find and access the multiple possible outcomes. You always want to lean towards a perspective that will give you options so that you can always choose, at best, if not a total win-win resolution, a win that totally is feasible for you to gain without having to lose anything. All right? So you want to make sure that you win. And at best, you win and the other person wins too. Okay? Now, I know some of y'all get a little uncomfortable when we're thinking about being in conflict with someone or something and possibly thinking that you would want to think, how can they win while you're winning at the same time? Trust me. Trust me with this. It's not so black and white. This is why you need to strive for your bird's eye view of any situation that is occurring in your life so that you can see that for yourself. Is this making sense so far? All right. So because you're at the center, all right, this is your world. Because you are the master of your universe. What you get to do, with or without anyone's clue that you're doing this work, you get to evaluate your own actions, your own behaviors, and how they will not only affect the person in front of you, but also affect the larger family that you belong to, the larger group that you belong to, the larger community that you belong to, the larger organization that you belong to, humanity, if you will, the planet, if you will, the universe. So depending on how large of an influence you have, there are so many different layers of how you can see your behaviors and your actions are going to have an impact on those things. Okay? And eventually, and hopefully, all of you will reach a status in your lives where something that you do, you lead, that you create, you inspire, will touch the globe. I'm going to just put that out there. Why not? If you won't think that big, I will for you. Okay? So if you receive that, receive it. I'll take it. Because what we want to remember is that much like a war that occurs in a local region, that local region at war is going to also affect the larger land that it exists in. And that larger land being affected is going to affect perhaps the state that it belongs in. And while it's easier for us to see how detrimental war can be in a localized region, we want to look at the conflicts that we have with our closest friends, with our family members, with ourselves even, right? And how they affect the larger community. We began a process of focusing mostly within, especially when COVID-19 started. It was like, all right, cool, we're in the lock-in. It's time for me to get right with myself. But as we get closer to this new moon and we're in the final quarter of the year, it is time for you to be clear enough about yourself that you can maintain that level of individuality and find a place where your individuality is productive and valuable to a group setting without losing yourself. Okay? One of the reasons why this process is going to be easier for some of you is because as an occultist, you are allowing yourself to examine things outside the realms of a structured religion or set of practices that are only done by one group of people culturally or whatever, right? You may have your own personal set of beliefs, but you're allowing yourself to learn and understand things from a scientific mind where you want to try things to see if they work or they don't work. Okay? It's not attached to a set of dogmas or things that make things have to be good or bad. So due to your unconventional thinking, which make your options visible to you, those options are completely invisible to people who only pay attention to what is locally around them, or they're specialized to only see and master one particular area. And so while there's a place for specialization, when you want to be a master in strategies for creating your life in a way that you choose, you're going to have to broaden your perspective so that you don't end up pinning yourself down to the ground like a chicken or a turkey that can't even get up off the ground high enough to see that it is prey to human beings. Okay? Just think about that. If you were to close your eyes for a minute and envision just for a minute that you were a chicken or a turkey, guacking, all like, you're flapping, you're making all this noise, right? You need room. Move out my way. And all that, you so busy. Whoop. You snatched up, head gone. You're somebody's dinner. Now, do you want to be that kind of bird whose viewpoint is way down to the ground? Or do you want to be an eagle or an owl or a hawk that is flying up high, that can see from way up here that I have an option of that rabbit running that way, that squirrel going that way, that raccoon, or I might be thirsty after I have my meal so I can see the river, I can see a tree that I want to set up my house in, I can see my meal, and I stay above what can be dangerous to me. You understand? So when you go, I'm going to show you a little picture. Y'all know I like to, draw little pictures. And I want you to draw this too for yourself. I want you to draw this too for yourself. All right. Can you see this? So let's think of you right here. Okay? That's you. That's your issue. That's your problem. Whoever you beefing with, y'all are right here. This is, y'all civil war going on right here. It's localized. You can't tell how you're going to get to a resolution. I'd like to consider that this side are all the things you have not explored, okay? But you pretty much think that if what you don't have over here must be on the other side, right? And a lot of times when you start thinking outside the box and you're thinking of ways to solve something that are different from what you already believe and know, you end up finding yourself running against, like, these. I wrote these little lines so that they could be like spikes, okay? They like triggers. Every time you get close to thinking, like I said, win-win situations between you and somebody you probably can't even stand right now, okay? You get close to when you like, oh my God, no. I don't want to be the bigger person. Sometimes that's the case, right? Okay, no, I've tried the bigger person route. That don't work. Okay, cool. Maybe I just need to get beyond some of my shyness and reach out to somebody that I actually do admire and want to be their friend. Oh, they're going to think I'm thirsty. Oh, they may not accept my friendship. Oh, maybe I just need to allow myself to manifest them into my life. Another trigger. You're scared of rejection, right? All these different things, right? But what exists inside of here, as you can see, it's like a portal. It's like a black hole. It's endless. This centerpiece gives you a little piece of this, gives you a little piece of this, and all the other things that you just can't see because you are focused on these little points on this side that prick you every time you think outside your box. And then once you get on this side, you don't have access to what's in here because of the same thing, okay? So take this diagram for yourself. And maybe 1 to 3 things. Don't cram yourself up. But you got this new moon coming up and it's going to be really powerful for you. Especially when it comes to relationships with people. Get clear. Okay? Some of you have never completely ever said, like, okay, I'm done with certain relationships. And like, I'm done. And made space for the new relationship to occur. That's somewhere in between. That is, I want to release this, but now I want to get clear about what I want to bring instead. So you have to identify that space. At this point, you can't just kind of wing it, okay? You want to fly up high and see what's the bigger picture, what's the bigger plan for your life and the things you want to be connected to. Y'all got it? So at the end of the day, any person, any conflict, any group, it's not simply just the sum of its parts. Essentially, we tend to think that, okay, the sum of its parts. But each part that engages with another part actually collides and creates a whole nother thing. So there becomes this constant crossover for infinite outcomes. And so what I'm asking you to do is to be patient with yourself. Take the quiet time where you've released yourself as being a victim of whatever the circumstances are. put on your high flying wings and see the situation that's happening from out here so that you can be aware of how you want to affect the changes that will occur when you take action, whether you change your behaviors, whether you choose the right words, whether you embrace something and accept it as it is, whether you release something or you open yourself up to receive another. Do that in a meditation of complete silence and see what becomes available to you. And let me know later on down in these comments and HOC, drop us an example of how you managed to gain bird's eye perspective on at least one situation and you became successful or victorious in resolving the issue, even if you only had to resolve the issue within yourself. Y'all got it? All right. Does anyone have any questions now or even want to put themselves out there right now? All right, so if you don't have any questions, make sure you're keeping tabs on whether you're being colorblind or you can see all the variations available to you. And I will speak with you again soon as spirit moves. Peace, love, and bliss. Happy exploration.